Alright, so everybody talking about a whole global reset and all that, right? Capitalist reset, socialist whatever the hell you want to call it. Um, I came across this thing called the Cestui Que Vie Act of 1666, 1666, of course. And this has to do with existence of life, right? So I'm just going to read some to you. I just felt like this was something people should know. Oh, I forgot. Whoops. I was supposed to pick up my niece today and forgot all about it. Whoops. Alright. London, 1666. During the Black Plague and Great Fire of London, Parliament enacted an act behind closed doors called Cestui Que Vie Act of 1666. The act being debated was to subrogate the rights of men and women, meaning all men and women were declared dead. This is the important part, why I'm actually bothering. Lost at sea, beyond the sea. Back then, they operated an admiralty law, the law of the sea. So, lost at sea. And this is something that I've talked about extensively. Admiralty law is what we're under. This right here is what I would guess is using the past to figure out the future, right? Because this seems like what's coming. The state, London City, Londonium, Roman London, took custody of everybody and their property into a trust. The state became the trustee, husband, holding all titles to the people and property until a living man comes back to reclaim those titles. He can also claim damages. When capital letters are used anywhere in a name, this always refers to a legal entity fiction. Companies and corporations. Company or corporation is no exception. So, there it is. It's pronounced Cestui Que, whatever. Cestui, common term in New Zealand and Australia. Love all my Australian friends. It's a straw man. They did the straw man. Common term in the United States. These are legal entity fictions created and owned by the government whom created it. It is like owning a share in the stock market. You may own a share, but it is still a share of the stock market. Legally, we are considered, I'll just do this for like 10 minutes, I guess. Legally, we are considered to be a fiction, a concept or idea expressed as a name, a symbol. The legal person has no consciousness. It is a juristic person, ens legis, a name word written on a piece of paper, the paper tiger. This traces back to 1666 London as an independent city-state just like Vatican, or an independent city-state just like Washington, D.C. is an independent city-state. The Crown is an unincorporated association. Why unincorporated? It's private. The Temple Bar is in London, B-A-R, the bar. Every lawyer called to the bar swears allegiance to the Temple Bar. You can't get called without swearing this allegiance. I just want to add here, right, I was going to get my concealed carry because I pack around all kinds of pistols and shit. Just cause I would never shoot anybody. I'd rather show it to somebody to avoid an issue than actually have to shoot them because I'd probably throw it at them first. I don't like hurting people. My point is, though, I was going to apply to get my concealed carry license, and in order to get a concealed carry license, you have to swear allegiance to the United States of America. Yeah, no thanks. I'll just pack my fucking gun. Like, I'm not asking your permission. Our only way out, this is important, our only way out is to reclaim your dead entity, the straw man, that the Crown created. Become the executioner, become the executor, the legally responsible person for it, for the entity. become the executor, and then collapse the called Cestui Que Vie, whatever that word is, trust, and forgive yourself of your debts, and then remove yourself from the admiralty law that holds you in custody. They're prisoners, they're property, they are owned. Nobody wants to believe it, but this is it. When London burned, the subrogation of men and women's rights occurred. The Responsible Act passed. CQV Act of 1666 meant that all men and women of the UK were declared dead and lost at sea. The state took everybody and everybody's property into trust. That's what's happened now. The state takes control until a living man or woman comes back and claims the titles by proving they are alive, and claims for damages can be made. This is why you always need representation when involved in legal matters, public defender, lawyer, because you are dead. You are not conscious and competent enough to defend yourself. The legal fiction is a construct on paper, an estate in trust. When you get a bill or summons from a court, it is always in capital letters, similar to tombstones in a graveyard. Capital letters signify death. They are writing to the dead legal fiction. A legal fiction was created when someone informed the government that there was a new vessel in town based on your birth. It's your birth, like when you were born, but it's birth, like B-E-R-T-H, when you birth a ship. The birth canal. It's all there. Like, the language is a fucking game. Birth certificates are issued to us by the doctor, just as ships are given birth certificates at the dock. It's about commerce. It's all about commerce. There's TV programming, right? But in the middle of that, there are commerce shows. It's crazy. And that's trying to sell you shit. It's an ad. It's all about commerce. We come from our mother's waters, right? Your mother has a birth canal. I just mentioned that. Your mother has a birth canal just like a ship. The ship moves by the sea current just as we are able to move by the current sea. All this information relates to how the general public are still legally tied through maritime admiralty law. Through this ancient legal construct, we can be easily controlled and duped. Learning about your legal fiction helps you to unlock yourself. Otherwise, you are just an empty vessel floating on the sea of commerce. Parents are tricked into registering the births of their babies. In about 1837, the Births, Deaths, and Marriages Act was formed in the UK, and the post of Register General was established. His job was to collect all the data from the churches which held the records of birth. That's crazy. Regis, from queen or crown. All people are seen to be in custody of the crown. This allows people to function in commerce and to accept the benefits provided by state. Fuck it, ain't worth it. We have to understand who we are as men and women and how we can relate in this system. The City of London is a center for markets where merchants work. Then there is mercantile law. It comes from admiralty law, commerce, the commercial codes. Look at the symbols in your city's courts to relate to admiralty. So, where you have commerce and money, you also have justice and injury. You need to understand the bankruptcy before you can understand the judiciary. We have accepted the claim to accept the summons, yet only the dead can be summoned. There is an obligation to accept any liability which has been created. We are operating in admiralty law. A not guilty plea, or any plea, admits jurisdiction. This is something I try to get people to understand. It's involuntary consent, right? If you say, I'm guilty or I'm not guilty, either one of those means that you're giving them consent to carry on with the charade. The act. It's acts. It's all acts. Acts and codes and shit. None of it's real. Honor and dishonor. To remain in honor, you have to accept a claim and settle it. Then you add conditions, i.e., I accept on proof of claim and proof of loss. This gives the liability back to them. The legal fiction is always guilty. Always. Guilty until proven innocent. Only in the high courts can a real man or woman appear. Circuit court, district court, that shit ain't real. Games are played on courts, hence the name court. It's a game with actors acting on acts. It has to be treated as a game and just business. Courtroom dramas are misinformation. In the public, we are operating in bankruptcy, and you receive benefits. It takes a lot of time, effort, and study to understand and use these tools. You have to be prepared to go fully through the process. Get the right tool out of your toolbox at the right time. People need to learn how to act as a creation of God rather than a creation of man. And that's what I figured out, basically. I stopped being what the world said I was supposed to be, and I started being what God said I was supposed to be. And I've never been happier. That's it, though. I'll put this is a PDF. It's a book. I'll put it in the link, though, in case you guys want to read through. Peace out. Love you all.